The Elder Scrolls V Skyrim is a game that takes place in Skyrim. Wow, statement of the century, who would have thought, right? Well, to preface this video, Bethesda Game Studios likes to follow this pattern where the default race of your character matches up with the province that the game takes place in. Take a look at the character creator or any trailer of Skyrim out there where the main character every time seems to default to being a Nord warrior whose only magical talent seems to be shouting. As your local Stormcloak sympathizer will tell you, Skyrim belongs to the Nords. So naturally, the last Dragonborn can be assumed to be a Nord, while the hero of Kvatch from Oblivion can be assumed to be an Imperial, and the Nerevarine from Morrowind is a Dark Elf. Well, in the Morrowind community, there is a little inside joke about the quote-unquote Karen Nerevarine as an Argonian. See, in Morrowind, the beast races Argonian and Khajiit are often kept as servants and slaves, so the joke is the person who saves the Dark Elves is a member of a slave race. So the point is, the premise main character makes no sense. Get it? Get it? That's the joke? Isn't that funny? Oh, okay, whatever. So in today's video, I'm going to be playing as the canon Last Dragonborn in Skyrim. Naturally, he's an elderly Altmer or High Elf who specializes in magic and is an undercover agent of the Thalmor. You know, the Thalmor, the elven faction from Somerset who crapped all over the Empire and slayed almost all the Blades and banned Talos worship. That Thalmor? Yeah, we're in it in this playthrough. And this guy's an Altmer traditionalist too. He's aware that the Altmer are direct descendants from Aldmer, who in turn are direct descendants from the old Elnafey, who they themselves were descendants from the early spirits of creation. Hence, the inherent magical prowess and the increased height and all that. Skyrim may be for the Nords, but the entire world is for the Altmer. It's time for these lowly lesser mortals to know their place. So here are the rules of the run. I can only gain experience in the schools of magic in base Skyrim, so illusion, conjuration, destruction, restoration, alteration, and enchanting are on the table. The only exception will be speech, because I would like to trade items. No armor, no transformations like werewolf or vampire, no followers, no pets, no overpowered leveling until the endgame. I could train a lot of magic skills ridiculously fast, but that would trivialize the run. And you know, it would cause this video to be released a lot sooner, so of course we can't have that on this channel. Stabs and scrolls are allowed because we're doing a magic only run, and lastly, no bound weapons from the Conjuration skill because I don't want to level any warrior skills. And as always, we're playing on legendary difficulty. So with the intro out of the way, let's let the filthy subspecies ask his pathetic question.
Who are you?
So as stated earlier, the opposite of a young Nord warrior is going to be an elderly Altmer who specializes in magic. Let's make him not so pleasant to look at. I'm going to name him Valarianaro Nilly for Nilly Dory. Oh my god. What have I done to this guy's name? Turns out the maximum character limit on a name is 26 characters. And Valarianaro Nilly for Nilly Dory is 26 characters as well. So hopefully you guys don't mind, but this is going to require a lot of role playing since you can't actually join the Thalmor in Skyrim. So let's just pretend that he's an undercover Thalmor agent and go from there. Unfortunately, he was so undercover that he got caught up with the Stormcloaks at Darkwater Crossing, and Elenwen has no choice but to sacrifice us. My commitment to the Thalmor is unmatched. I shall meet my fellow Aldmer and Aetherius.
What in oblivion is that?
Sentries, what do you see?
It's in the clouds.
Wow, of all the beings to give me a second chance, it's a timeline-devouring dragon. Who would have thought? Looks like my usefulness is not at an end just yet. Serves you right, Empire of Man filth. Time for confusion tactics. Even though I'm working undercover for the Thalmor and the Stormcloaks have a racist streak, I need to maximize my odds of survival, and these rebels won't try to kill me, I don't think. They were friendly in the cart, at least. Wow, I can take exactly 0 of this free loot due to the rules of this run. No armor and no weapons. This Fury spell is going to come in handy, though. Not bad for a starting spell. If only I could cast a Fury spell on all the Empire so they can keep wasting their resources for the inevitable rise of the Aldmeri Dominion, or something like that. Pulsing the Flame spell like this is the most optimal for the early game as well. That burning effect lasts for 2 seconds and deals about 30% extra damage, so it's more efficient if I wait in between casts. One down. And Ralof takes care of 2. These Stormcloaks are pretty useful for right now. Oh yeah, Fury is definitely a mainstay for now. Y'all duke it out. I'm gonna loot it up for now. Ooh, that loot is handsome! Ralof, you done with these goons? Not to make a bad pun, but this Empire is so cooked. I'm not exactly allowed to use lock picks, but I can still reach the mage, thankfully. I can't get to sparks. Oh well, at least I can put the mage equipment to good use. We're gaming, we're gaming. Suck on this, wandering scum. Though I realize I should probably explain the lore a little bit for those of you who don't know. And this is editing OSK as well. I didn't write this down. So basically, the wandering Elnafey are the result of Lorcan needing an army to fight against the old Elnafey who were trying to get him killed whenever they realized that he was sapping their power in order to create Mundus. So that's where the races of men originate from. So if I ever make a nod or an insult regarding a trickster or any wandering races of men or anything like that, that's where that comes from. You can watch a lore video on it. Anyway, let's mop up, guys. Now for the spiders. Damn, he just freaking jumped him. Holy shit. Easy does it there, big boy.
Just take it nice and slow.
Rayloff, you'd never make it in these savage streets. You can't even tell I'm undercover and very clearly a mage. Like, come on, what are the odds? God, get me out of here. That dragon could be a problem for our takeover later. With no time wasted, I wander around Falkreath Hold and encounter this trickster-loving waste of a wandering spirit. And I mean, look at her. Can't even cross a small rocky ledge. Putting this lower life form out of her misery was a mercy. How is she ever going to figure out how to make my coffee in the morning when the Dominion takes over? Met another bandit, by the way. Unfortunately, the kill cam is based on normal damage from adept difficulty, I'm pretty sure, because when I'm on legendary difficulty, I deal a quarter of my normal damage, and the kill cam fakes me out a lot on this playthrough. It happens more often than not. Also, in case you missed it, if you run out of magicka and you have equipment with additional magicka, you can unequip it and re-equip it to gain the boosted magicka back instantly. Pretty helpful in a pinch. You can only do it with one piece of equipment though, so you gotta be choosy. While it pains me to harm a fellow Altmer, this guy messed up pretty bad. Can't have weak members of our race. I'll be taking those black mage robes, thank you. Oh boy, somehow I managed to aggro Talsgard the Wanderer out of nowhere. He straight up was already after my yellow ass. And he's strong as hell too. Seriously, my flames do barely anything to the guy. Not good. Forest friend, help me out here. I may not be a Bosmer like the last playthrough, but the deer decoy strategy is working out quite well. And just as planned, these dolts from the local bandit camp are lured into helping me in my cause. Such simple creatures. It does take me a while, but a few useful idiots later, I was finally able to get Talsgard down, and his subscription to life goes up in flames. Okay, now it goes up in flames. Todd, you spawn of filthy wanderers, can you please make a working game? Finally. I know I do these runs with no mods for accessibility reasons, but man, I wouldn't mind the kill cam edit mod right about now. Off to the shrine of the fake man god. Seriously, an elf can become a hero god, no problem, but a man? Please. Their entire existence revolves around celebrating mortality. There's no way they could ascend. But it is here that a member of my own has joined the eternal rest. If only Ellenwyn had listened to him sooner, maybe he wouldn't have met his end. He should have been able to handle a few peasants by himself, though. Tragic. Here's the new drip, boys. Feels good donning the old uniform again. You know what, though? It does kind of ruin the emergency magicka strategy, though. Obviously going to pick the mage stone because literally all the stats I'm training this run are magic skills. You know, aside from speech, which is more important this playthrough than in most, let me tell you. I fight my way into Riverwood, meeting Sven along the way, who, you guessed it, is failing to win over the only real marriage prospect in town.
Here, let me give you a particularly venomous letter. Say it's from Faendal.
Wow, dude, he's literally right there. The Nords aren't very subtle, are they? I'm not gonna lie, though, he nailed the sentiment pretty well. An imperial child of man would befoul an elven bloodline if it ever came to courtship. Can't argue with that. However wrong it may be, I can't let a simple man lie his way in between an elf and his goal, though. Ooh, Faendal, a letter threatening eternal housewife duties, truly capturing the Nord's spirit. I applaud you, good sir.
If that oaf thinks all I'm going to do is stay in that filthy house of his and clean, You can tell Sven that he already has a mother. I'm not speaking to him anymore.
You beautiful bastard, it worked like a charm. As much as I disapprove of the suitor's choice, it does bring me great joy to help an elf in his goals, even if they are a Bosmer. I stopped by Girder in Riverwood to report the dragon, and Rayloff is just putting the wood into the river, I guess. One sorry failed attempt at recruiting the obvious Thalmor agent into the Stormcloak army later. I know Skyrim isn't anywhere near as complex as Baldur's Gate 3, but seriously, it would have been cool if there was an attack on sight action here. I head to Whiterun and slay my way into the companion's good graces, but worshipping Daedra is unbecoming of an esteemed member of the Master Race.
Well, nobody asked you.
I'm more than content with wielding the true power of this world. Speaking of which, wow, they really picked a dump of a town to place the esteemed college here in Skyrim. I hope the Nords get well acquainted to more destruction of their homes. Serves them right. And by the way, I'm really looking for a cheap Flame Atronach spell, and Feralda can help us with that. By reloading your save, you can have Feral to cycle through her random spell selections as the test spell. This makes the Flame Atronach spell cost only 30 gold, as opposed to 250 or so from a wizard shop. The extra 50 magicka a high elf naturally gets is coming in real handy here. Let me know in the comments who wore it better. So since the Dragonborn in the trailer is typically depicted as a warrior Nord, I figured the most opposite thing I can do here is become a full-fledged mage at the College of Winterhold. Makes sense to me. This amateur Nord mage is beyond help. If you're unskilled enough with magic to worry about safety, you should just bow before your master. The Telvanni apprentice I can understand, given her bloodline, but the young Nord and the cat? Might as well get them used to manual labor. Dagoth as misguided as he was, had the right idea about these lesser races.
Farm tool tier.
I cast a novice restoration spell we teach our children at the young age of 4, and now he's ready to show me the ruins of one of our offshoot's famous preemptive attacks during the Night of Tears, Sarthal. The Altmer could learn a thing or two from these tactics of the Snow Elves. It's too bad they're all no longer sentient. I decide it's probably better for now that I keep a lower profile to not arouse the wrong attention, and so I can take advantage of my superior hood swapping technique. It'll be very handy in the hours to come. These silly Nords think I'll just leave their treasures alone if they bury them with their dead? Maybe they ought to join their ancestors if they care so much before we unmake their entire concept. Time to venture in. While we're in Sarthal, I pluck an amulet off the wall, solve the easiest puzzle I've ever seen in my entire damn long-lasting elf life. Seriously, it's insulting. And then I get rudely interrupted by my archenemy, the one faction the Thalmor can't control. I mean, the one faction the Thalmor have yet to easily conquer when we feel like it. We just haven't felt like it yet.
Judgment will be passed on your actions to come.
As if you have any right to exercise judgment on a superior member of the superior beings. And then he poofed out of existence. The coward. I explained to Tolfdir that my goals are beyond his understanding before we're raided by a swarm of Draugr. These meager undead souls will be perfect for my experiments later. Thanks to my Conjuration expertise, the threat is neutralized with a whimper. You dare to strike an Altmer? Feel the wrath of my flames, you undead lesser ingrates. For level ups, I will be focusing on health early on, then magicka to allow for more casting, then health again. And casting Oak Flesh is priority number 1 for now. The armor rating it gives is invaluable since I can't wear armor this run. I put the zombies back to sleepies and solve the puzzles that don't need thinkies. What a primitive people. They haven't changed much. I'm starting to sense that my character's hatred for the Nords may be getting annoying for some of you, but that doesn't stop the Thalmor from still thinking it about you. Think about that. You don't hate them enough. My first Draugr White at level 2. It's almost fair for them too. All it takes is a little help from my fiery friend, a touch of my highborn ability to regenerate my magicka, moderately amateur levels of positioning, and this brain-dead Bonewalker is about done. Holy Magnus in a chess match, we found something big. No wonder the Snow Elves burned down the city. And ooh, we have a visitor. Even a magically amped up savage is still a savage. Jirik Galderson is the son of the great Nord mage Galder, which really means that he was a novice in comparison to his higher born races. What little power he had was all in his amulet, which was split into 3 parts. Jirik Galderson here happens to have the magicka third. We won't be getting the other 2 this run. He also has a unique staff that gives some free casts of Lightning Bolt, which is very handy in a situation like this. It also drains twice as much magicka damage as it deals to health. I mean, it does minimal amounts of damage because it was designed by a talentless apprentice, but it's better than 0, I guess. I buy enough time to eventually summon back my Flame Atronach and watch the beatdown from afar while my magicka recharges. Barely enough power to take down a simple Daedra from Oblivion. How did this guy warrant a whole-ass writ of sealing again? Anyway, it ends like the Second Great War, with a dead man up in flames. What meager power this necklace has will be put to good use. Tolfdir, quick quiz. What is this thing?
I have no idea.
I rest my case on your level of expertise. Ugh, finally out of that dump.
I am Savos Arin, Archmage of the College of Winterhold.
Well, what a job you've done with the college's reputation.
But I do not and will not approve of any research or experiments that cause purposeful harm to your fellow members of the college.
Oh, you're one to talk there, big boy. You are one to talk. I think in exchange for letting Savos know about the Eye of Magnus in Sarthal, he could at least let me have his boots. They do have a nice 40% shock resistance enchantment. Oh great, so while I wait on the orb to be transported to the college, I get to go play errand boy and fetch some lost books that a former student brought to this evil offshoot of the college that the mages here feel really no need to deal with. So they send the newcomer. I mean, it's not that I couldn't do it myself. Oh. I just had some alternative ideas. Spontaneous trip to Markarth. What could go wrong? There, I helped. You're welcome, filthy half-breed. By the way, I forgot to mention I grabbed the Mystic Tuning Gloves from Drevis Norellen for the drip. These will be relevant later. Up in Understone Keep, there's someone I've been wanting to see. Meet Ondolamar, the head of the Thalmor Justiciars in Skyrim. I would prefer to be on his good side if that's even possible. Turns out he needs some help finding proof of Talos worship from Ogmund the Skald here in Markarth in order to uphold the just and lawful order of the White Gold Concordat, a treaty signed by the Empire after the First Great War outright banning the worship of the false man-god Talos. It's a shame we even have to hunt down these mouth-breathing mortal missionaries. The quest calls for me to break into his house to loot some form of proof, but alas, the door is locked. I waited and waited several times, but there is no time when this door opens, and I can't train lockpicking and pry it open. I mean, if you ask me, here's all the proof you need he's a Talos worshipper. Dude looks like he walked right out of Sovngarde itself. But I guess Ondolamar will have to go without it this time. When I went to Thalmor Magic School, they didn't teach lockpicking. All they taught was a magic spell used to unlock doors, which I have mysteriously forgotten by the time I came to Skyrim. Oh well. At least I get to see the resident true Nord of Skyrim be put to the sword. Or axe in this case. This would be a great time to show the kids how the Thalmor played soccer in the Imperial Palace in old-timey times.
We should have drawn it out some more. He deserved a slower death.
Oh. I think I just fell in love.
We provide clothing for all of Solitude's most influential residents. But for you, I'll make an exception.
Mommy?
If I were walking around with a wound, I would want you to tell me to see a doctor. Your outfit is something of an open wound, where attire is concerned.
Oh, that sweet sting of your honesty is intoxicating.
If you are willing to wear one of Radiant Raymond's outfits and speak to the Jarl, I would not only pay you, but let you keep the outfit.
I'd do anything for you, you fine high elven specimen of the female form. I shall return victorious, my queen.
You can tell them that I will be putting in a request for a few dresses quite soon.
Success, my angel!
That's wonderful. You've done us a great service.
Oh, I can't wait to service you for the rest of your life, my sweet superior higher being. Together we shall rule these lowly masses. In time. Unfortunately, she's kind of high maintenance. I'll explain later. Now then, down to business. With my connections as a Thalmor agent, I was allowed to join the Legion to further its aims and to secretly prolong the war as much as possible so the men can keep wasting resources and worthless lives as much as possible fighting each other. And even though I am but one exceptional individual, these uncultured swine worth of bandits might as well be child's play.
Tell me again why I'm wasting men chasing after a fairy tale.
Ooh, this should be good.
So what? Ulfric gets this crown and then suddenly he's High King?
No, it's not as simple as that. But the Jagged Crown would be a potent symbol for his cause to rally around.
Perfect. Just what the master plan ordered. So the Jagged Crown is basically this ornamental symbol of office for the High King of Skyrim, last seen with King Borgus, who ironically was removed from this world by the Wild Hunt. By the way, you should watch my Greenpack Bosmer video. Shameless plugs aside, the Stormcloaks have beat us here, so the least we could do is give them a warm welcome. Let's utilize that Stormcloak aggression. Look at them, fighting amongst themselves like the animals they are. What a beautiful microcosm of what's to come. Eventually, we push our way through the rest of the Stormcloaks, take down the rest of the Draugr, and there's old crown-brimmed Borgus himself. He hasn't seen the sun in a long time. Let's warm things up for him. I'll let the Legion do what it does best, namely embarrass itself in the face of soulless minions. Pretty sure my Atronach did most of the work there, buddy. Knowing the races of men, he'll probably get a promotion somehow. Not as efficient as I would like with myself and the Atronach split up, and apparently it takes 3 Legionnaires to match a single Draugr Scourge. You bastard! Sheila was special! Quick level up to restore my Magicka and grab Apprentice Conjuration. Unfortunately, one of the trade-offs for being a pure mage is the fact that a lot of my strength is very stunted in the early levels. This is made up by the fact that I'm a ranged attacker, so I can usually be safe as long as I maintain space between myself and the enemies I face. So with space properly utilized, I'm able to finally send this Draugr to the Soul Cairn. Maybe he'll reincarnate as a Wrathman or something. They seem similar. And here's the primitive headwear I came for. And as a nice bonus, there's the first word for slowed time. I'm already a higher race, might as well become a Time Lord while I'm at it. Now with the Jagged Crown in hand, we can do something quite hilarious. Taking oaths never stopped me from espionage. Silly humans and their ways.
How can I be sure you're not an Imperial spy?
Excellent fucking question. Anyway,
here's the crown.
Alright. I believe you.
Well, that was easy. Now to deliver Ulfric's axe to Jarl Ballsack in Whiterun. Why these people can't just scry or send a letter, I'll never know. Unfortunately, the literal war invitation is postponed until I go and fetch some ancient stone tablet that may or may not actually be there. And although I'm inclined to do most things as opposite as possible, it's mostly just to do with the premise. So I'll still complete all the main quests, and I'm not going to be purely evil and just murder everyone I see. That would be too on the nose. Plus, the whole point is for the Dragonborn to be the least likely person to still do what the Dragonborn does. Also, this video is meant as a joke, in case you didn't know. It's all entertainment at the end of the day. And while you're here, maybe you could entertain a smashing of the like button and maybe a subscribe. It helps the channel a lot, and if you're so inclined, consider becoming a member for as low as $1 per month. A big thank you to all my current channel members. You guys are the best. Anyway, back to the action. I will never understand why these orcs chose to devolve themselves from proper elves of Trinimac into barbarity with his changed form into Malakath. They could learn a thing or two from Urag back at Winterhold. At least he's trying to learn something of value.
Tell you what, you start running so I can stab you in the back.
Gotta love the constant boss kill cams. So I have a plan here. Let's summon Sheila to distract old 8 Eyes here. I don't actually know how many eyes they have. It might be 7. I don't know. Let's release Arvel and cast Fury on him. Sure, he runs away at first, but they always come back. Our twisted dark brethren. One giant eyesore down and a much smaller eyesore later. Oh, look, they love each other. There's the golden claw and a golden opportunity to test this ancient door trap. Can't fault the ancient Nords for that beautiful contraption. Not even going to waste time here. Work smarter, not harder. Invest into alteration, force that rotation, read some notation, and now feelings of trepidation and elation for that mage armor. Flesh spells are now twice as strong, so that's massive. And this fight is basically just me tagging in Sheila to serve as tank, while I naturally am the handsome and powerful spellcaster. And finally, a kill cam that does its job. There's the stone, there's the old crone, but I'll leave her on her own, because we are not alone. I definitely thought way too hard on how to rhyme all that, and damn, that damage is no joke. That stone flesh spell is expensive, but it's well worth it for now. Shoot, I forgot fury spells don't work on undead. Good thing they still work on thralls though. It's beautiful, couldn't have worked out much better. 2 birds and 1 stone, baby.
You don't have a chance.
Oh my. Yeah, so apparently there's some preservation and momentum type stuff going on, because if you redact an enemy with a spray spell, apparently if they get hit with a projectile, the impact of the hit gets applied if it's within a short enough amount of time, and it can lead to some pretty hilarious results. Is that John Dragonborn? No, it's just a thug. Sheila's not interested, low spawn. Corpulus Vinius, you sick son of a bitch.
I'm gonna put this back where it belongs.
I'll make a similar statement for all of you when the time is right. Mark my words, Lucan, you Imperials make me sick.
It's a fine day with you around.
You just remember that when I make you go the way of an Argonian and Morrowind. I guess that's not really an accurate joke anymore after their little rebellion, huh?
I want you to go with Irileth and help her fight this dragon.
Yeah, I know there's a reason you're sending the elves to do what you cannot. They can't even cast a candlelight spell. I know I said I wouldn't use overpowered leveling in the rules, but to be honest, I don't really use illusion a whole lot, and unless you typecast yourself, typecast, into the illusion tree, all serious-like, and sneak along with it, it's not really too useful in my opinion. But it does give me free levels, so I'll just cast Muffle organically and not force regen my magicka. Good compromise? Yes? I'm already making the decision to do it in the playthrough phase, which takes place before the script writing phase, which is before the audio, which is before the video editing, so I don't really know why I'm asking you for your input. I'll tell you what, if you leave a comment about how bad my ideas are, I might just read them just long enough to scroll past it and ignore it. Think of it as us mutually throwing shade at each other. It's no good for anyone, but it's fun, in a way. Oh, for the love of Mother Mara, the dragon heard me yapping like a damn chihuahua in an apartment building. That's definitely not me throwing shade at my neighbors. Bet you're so shocked to see me, aren't you, big boy? The way he just doesn't give a single shit about my damage right now. Well, whether he acknowledges it or not, the damage does add up. Seriously, man? He just doesn't care. Hey, finally caught on after like 60% of his health is gone, and that fire is no joke right now. But you see, sir, there's this thing called a wall. It's very handy for blocking fire breath. And after some back and forth, down goes another obstacle for the Dominion's takeover.
Let's make sure that overgrown lizard is really dead. Damn good shooting, boys.
What's happening?
Everybody, get back!
Why am I gaining knowledge of how to eat a horker from the ass first?
I can't believe it. You're Dragonborn.
What on Nern's rotten chains did you just call me?
My grandfather used to tell stories about the Dragonborn.
Oh, fucking fine, Astro. I'm like a hero to these people now. They'll be looking up at me in a similar way in the future. Maybe not in the uplifting way that they're anticipating, though. I'll report to the Jarl about the results of the lesser lizard god shard thing. Long story. But how about I ask you a question?
I suppose it's time I gave him an answer. You can return this axe to our friend.
Are you sure you don't want to spend 2.5 minutes thinking it over with your court? Holy Mara's tits, these people just make snap decisions.
Is any man ever ready to give the order that will mean the deaths of many?
Apparently yes. You guys are all too eager to kill each other over such a petty disagreement about a god that doesn't exist.
A new day is dawning, and the sun rises over Whiterun.
I don't think anyone ever accused Ulfric of being able to control the weather or time of day. I guess he doesn't quite know that shout yet. War in Skyrim is pretty much just about manpower and positioning, which makes Conjuration mages have quite an advantage. Between that and the fact that we have infinite soldiers to tank up the front lines for us, breaking through the Imperial ranks is one of the easier things for us to do right now, even with the flame spell. There you go, boys. Should be easy enough to cross the drawbridge now. Between Radoff and Mine's line of fire, these guys were a joke. Very good gauge of how weak the Empire is for our second assault eventually. And that's the master plan. You see, Ulfric is nothing but an asset to us Thalmor as long as he's waging this war and weakening the Empire, forcing them to spend more resources before we can swoop in. The Empire nearly nabbed Ulfric before that blasted dragon attacked Helgen in its own territory near Darkwater Crossing. And the longer we can prolong this war, the weaker the Empire gets, and the stronger we the Thalmor can regroup for our second assault. However, I don't want to end the war entirely with a Stormcloak victory. That would stop the Empire from spending time and resources up here in Skyrim. Our result today needs to be somewhere in the middle. Can't you see, Irileth? I am master of the arcane. Bow down before your new masters, Jarl Ballsack.
Enough! That's enough. I surrender. I surrender.
Oh really? Are you sure you don't have another errand for me to run before you acknowledge there's a war going on? Half-breed bastard making lesser life form.
The Empire has no place in Skyrim.
Yes, very good, Vignar. When the fighting is done, you'll make for a good pet.
And you, a Stormcloak. I thought better of you.
Bro, I literally brought you Ulfric's axe. Did you think I was just a random citizen when I did that?
I'm
Dumbass.
pretty sure I killed more than you. I was counting.
Rayloff, you're at the top of my list when the real war kicks off. Now with Vignar Greymane as Jarl of Whiterun backing the Stormcloaks, the momentum of the war has shifted just enough for it to prolong even more than it previously was. Plus, I bet Ulfric will be even more emboldened, which will cause the Empire to waste even more men on this pointless war. Back in Windhelm, I pick up this Ring of Resist Magic from Naranya, which will replace my Ring of Minor Destruction I had earlier. This will help against other mages.
You know about Talos? He founded the Empire.
Oh, I know of him quite well. Perhaps more than you'd like to acknowledge. At Riften, I weasel my way through the shakedown.
Gates unlocked.
So much for a descendant of the Trickster. Finally, a temple to a real Aedra. Speaking to Dinya Balu, a member of the splinter group of Altmer who were rightfully cursed for following the ways of the Daedra, and now they are something different. Anyway, regardless of that, I'm here to receive the blessings of Mara, which will grant me even more magic resistance. I read about this in a book way back in Somerset, but never got around to it while I was at home. Unfortunately, I have to go help some rats in Iverstead. Well, damn, Sheila. And we ran into some trouble in the woods. Whoa, what the hell? Dude, my health bar just disappeared in half. What are they feeding these spiders? Well, that burned about 15 minutes. Whoever said that the route north of the throat of the world was easier and faster in my comments, I'd like to have some words with you. I mean, just look at this. There's a toll bandit road. Who paid the toll with their lives? Nice loot. There's a giant frostbite spider, my old nemesis. Seriously, we need a St. Jub for Skyrim for these freaks. There's a wanderer with demonades. There's this guy at Hilgren's tomb who's complaining about a dark elf named Valsvarin who is...
using our ancestors for his filthy dark elf necromancy.
Not exactly a practice I can get behind, but at least he's doing it to these rats of a people, so it's easier for me to look past, I guess. Oh, and Sheila wasn't feeling so good and took out Galdir with her. Might be the best thing she's done up to this point. In the main tomb, I come face to face with Vals, who flees on sight. Typical underhanded Dunmore move. And now he's using dead Norns to fight his battles for him. What a joke of a race. I managed to run my way out of being surrounded, but these Draugr archers were on point. I had to nearly run myself out of that section of the tomb to heal up at times, but I make progress here and there bit by bit. Alright, managed to get him with a calm spell. Ah, but he's got more friends. Great. This time I'll stay next to Sheila and make sure to get some damage in. Oh, how nice of you to join your own fight this time, Vals. Damn, this fight's actually pretty tough. What is it about the Nords that make their dead relatives stronger than they are in life? And there are still more! Wow, Vals must be bringing back the entire family tree. Why can't the Nords just bury their dead or burn them or something where they can't be brought back to life by necromancers? Seems kind of short-sighted after all this time. And I mean, there's no way it smells civilized in here. And I think we found Mac Daddy here with the Draugr Overlord. Ow! Okay, Vals is back himself. Better resist that frost. It just never ends, does it? I don't understand why the Nords have to breed like rabbits. Like, they're the damn Bosmer over here, like in Valenwood. Animals, a lot of them. Alright, home stretch.
Don't you see? I am not one of the arcade.
Hey, that's my line, buddy. Filthy coward. You know what? I do have a staff for this scenario. That's it, Sheila. You take point. I'll start blasting him. That's it. Just a little more. Oops, out of charge for that last little bit. At least the Dark Elf has some ballin' moves for his death. He was a scoundrel, but it was a challenging fight. Also, who randomly carries a chicken's egg on their person? Like, what? Decent bit of loot here. Time to head to Solitude to offload some of these finds. So you might be asking yourself why I haven't married Tayri, my sweet Altmer darling, yet. Well, let me tell you, Tayri here is a bit of a high-maintenance individual. Yes, we did do a deed for her in showing the Radiant Raiment close to the Jarl, but she requires an extra step. Tayri not only needs this task done, but she also needs you to make a whole ass investment in her shop, which can't be done until we reach level 70 speech. And I have to sink 4 whole ass perk points into the skill tree to get there. To top it all off, she's also the only Altmer or High Elf marriage option in the entire game. So if I want to do the roleplay correctly in this run, she's my only option. So old Valaria Naro Nilly for Nilly Dory is going to be lonely for a while, unfortunately. Well, back to the old grind. Oh look, this rat also has saber cats. Oh, 2 saber cats? And wolves? Yeah, sorry, comment guy, you're just wrong. The other rat was much easier. And despite my better judgment, I decide to help this sorry scab and escort him to his camp.
It's just across the bridge and up that hill.
You know, he seems kind of lively for someone who was just down and out.
Wait here. I'll be right back with your reward. You picked it back.
Ah, really? Living up to your trickster lineage, aren't you, cretin? Try not to fight amongst yourselves too much now. That ruin should make for a nice bit of cover. Kinda like a makeshift rampart.
Bad time to get lost, friend. Enough!
That should be the last of the normal bandits. Getting chills now, Tarav. Actually, I haven't lost a single point of health since I started fighting you, bud. I wouldn't be standing there if I were you, dude. Submit to your worthless man-made gods, you waste of life. This should finish you. Well, that went from 0 to 100 real quick. Ah, finally made it to Iverstead. It's about time. Never taking that route again.
Are you the one sent by Mara?
Indeed I am. So Fastred is involved with a love triangle between a kind of city man and small-town Travis Kels lookalike. Or is Travis a Klimek lookalike? Truly important questions that need answers. Long story short, Bassianus wants to whisk her away to the corrupt city of Riften, while Klimek wants to stay in the small dying township of Ivarstead. Now, in my humble opinion, but also not so humble Thalmor opinion, it would be easier if as many Nords were concentrated in the cities as much as possible to round them up more easily. Plus, cutting family ties and separating people is just an easy divide and conquer strategy from a morale standpoint. So off with Bassianus she goes in my book.
To Riften, my pet.
Well, Bassianus, a man after my own heart. Next to head to the charming fellow Caselmo, who needs help wooing Faeline of the Markarth Royal Guard.
You idiot! Do you even know who I am?
Oh yeah, we're gonna make fast friends. Oh, she's a Red Guard? Man, what the hell is this bullshit? And finally, I reunite the ghost lovers.
I'm so confused.
Me and you both, Rookie. Me and you both.
Carry the blessings of Mara with you.
But hey, that's the blessing of Mara. 15% magic resistance, not too shabby. I'm at 35% magic resistance currently with everything. Now you may be asking yourself why I'm continuing the main quest instead of getting something like the Atronach Stone or the Lord Stone to increase my magic defense to continue taking on the College of Winterhold quest line. Well, I would really like to learn some shouts. To increase my offense so I stand a chance. Also, as a pure mage, since all of my skill levels are pretty evenly spread out, I need to maintain the mage stone so I can level as quickly as possible to be as effective as possible. And you know, I would pay for magic lessons, but your high elf, high class acting friend of a friend is kind of broke. So you know, gotta do what we can in these savage streets. There's one troll down. Okay, now. How about now? There we go. Magic regen, am I right? And Sheila was just watching me fail from the sidelines. Sheila's out here throwing shade. Ah, level 13. Ever since I hit 200 health, I've been hitting exclusively Magicka to, well, cast more magic. And in case you were wondering, here's the perk spread at this point in the run. But here we are at High Hrothgar, where the scratch is chicken and the sprints be quicken. Now to fetch this primitive blowing utensil. Before heading out, I used my saved up coin to get some new drip, and now I'm ready to do some more dungeon diving. Oof, yeah, this fight is actually kind of crazy. Definitely gonna have to go for Highborn. And yeah, I guess it's some small consolation that the most troublesome mage is the High Elf. At least my people are living up to my expectations. Nice job, Sheila. Always so reliable. I run through the rest of the dungeon, making sure to grab the Become Ethereal shout. Pretty useful for drops from High Elf. Oh, thank you, Todd, for the fake kill cam and damage. Very nice. This happens more often than I'd like to admit. Anyway, the Norse designed these puzzles about the way I'd expect a lower IQ race to do. And here we are. And ooh, what's this? A note from a friend, huh? Well, making my life harder doesn't sound very friendly. And would you look at that? Our friend here is a filthy half-breed mix of lore contradictions and misplaced arrogance. You're gonna tell me that the mother determines the race, except for Bretons who are half men and half elf? There's no way I'd taint my bloodline like that. I'd prefer the extra effort of nailing an elevated Altmer female, thank you.
I'm part of a group that's been looking for you. Well, someone like you, for a very long time.
Oh, I bet I've stumbled upon some old friends. I thought we got rid of all of you. Can't wait to rehash some old history, the likes of which you have no idea. Before we head out to fight a dragon, I return the old relic, learn the final word of power for Unrelenting Force, making the shout much stronger, and listen to the Greybeard's latest mixtape. Now to return to Ustengrav to return the Horn of Jurgen Windcaller for a free dragon soul, and now to claim another free dragon soul. Free in the sense that this fight's pretty much a breeze. With Delphine and Sheila taking up the front, I'm able to blast Salaknir with firebolts from distance. And I have a lesser ward in the offhand, just in case he decides to breathe fire, as the ward will block all damage from that shout. 6.5 minutes down the tube. Yeah, Delphine, that's how we do it. Don't you f***ing walk away from me. Holy Mother Mara, I am towering over her.
If we could get into the Thalmor embassy.
Oh, I got ways of getting in there. But now that I have 35% magic resistance in total and also Unrelenting Force, I think it's time to pick up where I left off. Damage is still kind of light here. Ooh, that damage is not pretty still. Damn, how strong are the mages of Skyrim? Calm down, sir. Oh no, she'd be blasting me. Crap, no magicka. Oh my Magnus, that was almost my life. I need a drink.
You're pathetic.
Shut up! At least I don't have to resort to filthy melee combat, you bitch. Oh, sorry, I lost my composure there for a second. Did I just low-key become an anime protagonist? I guess I just get more power the angrier I get. I'll have to study this for later. I make a pit stop in Whiterun to sell off some items and grab these sweet robes and continue making my way through the keep, make some new vampire friends for the moment. They come in handy, even if they are abominations. I release Orthorn, the book thief from the college, who surprisingly enough is actually helpful in this run. I mean, I could have done it all myself, but I guess it doesn't hurt to have an extra elf on board. Unfortunately for him, he does eventually exhaust its usefulness. At least he has decent robes. Eventually, I fight my way through the last of the Atronachs and come face to face with the big boss, the Caller.
You come here, kill my assistants, disrupt my work. You've annoyed me, so I don't think I'll be giving you anything.
Listen, guilty as charged. I would be upset too if I was in your shoes. Truly, high elf to high elf. Unfortunately, you have something I need, so I'm going to need to be unbecoming for a moment. It's a bit of a challenge, one Altmer with a flame Atronach versus another Altmer with two Atronachs. I guess the difference is I'm not afraid to use my highborn ability to regenerate my magicka. And, you know, I'm a bit of a potion collector. And I have magicka boosting equipment, so as long as I unequip and re-equip it, I'll always have some kind of magicka to work with. One of these days, my brethren will learn to work smart and not hard. Good shot there, Sheila. Very nice. Back at the college, I pick up a few primitive tips for alteration that must have slipped my mind from my younger years. It's not that I didn't already know everything Tolfdir could teach me, I'm just getting old, you know? So anyway, I take tier 2 of magic resistance for an additional 10%, so that's 45% total now. I return the boots.
Well, well. And you seem to be in one piece.
Well, of course I'm in one piece. You should see the other guys. While pondering the orb with Tolfdir, Ancano graces our presence. To be fair, Tolfdir's remarks could have been made by any Altmer with a cursory viewing of this ancient relic. Ancano politely requests we follow him up to the Archmage's quarters again, and kindly assures me that this won't take long.
Don't worry. You can return to your petty squabbles and meaningless research as soon as this matter is resolved.
It's like I'm right back at home. By Magnus's great eyesight, this traitor again. This obstinate excuse for a mage can't even give me any answers. He just tells me to
seek out the Augur of Dunlane here in your college.
I suppose he's still down in the Midden.
The Midden? You're going to tell me that the college just casually has a basement where all sorts of unsavory magical practices are kept from prying eyes? And this guy's just down here? Whoa, okay, you could have given me a warning first.
Knowledge will corrupt. It will destroy. It will consume.
Well, I know practically everything, and the only thing it consumed was my hair. So this being of pure, unadulterated, illuminating wisdom tells me I need the Staff of Magnus. I'm assuming it would be close by, close enough to obtain myself, or the Augur wouldn't have mentioned it. And having such a powerful staff would definitely help in future endeavors, that's for sure. And finally it begins. Here's my first point of many into the enchanting skill tree. As far as the Staff of Magnus goes...
The Synod seemed convinced it was somewhere in Skyrim. They inquired about the ruins of Mzulft.
Aha! So that's where we're headed. I don't really have the time to deal with enemies in this dungeon. The Falmer, primitive and non-sentient as they are pretty tough though. So I just run my way through, turn through the side passage in the final area, and commence my assault. There are about 6 Falmer in this final area, and the strongest one must be defeated so I can loot the focusing crystal off its body. Aha! There it is, just gotta keep blasting while Sheila takes the front. Classic. Well, the fight drifted closer, and oh, I guess I can't calm the big one. Not good. Alright, this looks like a good spot. And finally, an honest kill cam. Now to go grab the crystal. And to finish the job... Oof, that kinda hurt. Wait. Well, shit. Not happening again there, buddy. Get slow timed on. There we go. And now for the big bad again. A bit weird on the butting in, Sheila, but I guess I'll take it. Now for the door key. Man, whatever did this must be pretty tough. Really? Just a spider guardian? That's it? Well, Sheila, you can handle this. Yep, I'd say it's going pretty well. Alright, you finish it up. I'm gonna loot for a second. Oops, I guess you need some help. Alright, there we go. Sheila, please take the aggro. My old legs are tired. Alright, one shot. Nice. For as misguided as those Dwemer were, they sure invented some amazing technology. It's always the elves doing the hardest work, it seems. Why is this mage squaring up at me? Not confident in your magical abilities? I mean, I wouldn't be either if I were you. I cool off his crystal to adjust the refraction, line up the mirrors to display the map, and determine with Paratus that the Staff of Magnus must be in Labyrinthian.
I shall return to Cyrodiil and deliver my full report to the Council.
Unfortunately, I can't let you do that. The Empire must never know this discovery. Rest in piss, filthy Imperial. Oh great, this again?
You have done well thus far, but trying times are ahead.
If you know that, why aren't you trying to at least help directly or prevent disaster? I don't trust those guys.
It's like a ward, but who's casting it? Onkano? How?
I think Onkano's going a bit past what was planned for the college by the Thalmor. I need to break past and at least ask what his intentions are. Hey, buddy, we just want to talk. Whoa, 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 too much!
Are you all right? Can you walk?
Well, clearly I'm standing, Mirabelle. What kind of dumb question is that?
I haven't seen Savo since the explosion.
Well, yeah, I imagine he's dead. Well, yeah, I'd say he's in the Great Red Mountain in the sky, or wherever Dunmer go where they die. Bunch of Daedra worshippers. Anyway, we have to get rid of these anomalies. They're not exactly quick to take down, especially when Arniel over here just refuses to use magic the entire time. We spent 8 minutes fighting these things when a damn dragon decided to join the mix. How fortunate for Winterhold. These guys just can't catch a break. At least it somewhat accelerated us getting rid of the anomaly infestation. Now to focus down on the new threat to the college. So a cool detail about fighting dragons is that apparently the part of Skyrim's combat AI that's tied to dragon shouting is reliant on magicka if the dragon you're fighting has a magicka pool, which most do. So if you apply a magicka draining effect like a shock spell to a dragon, they won't be able to shout at all. Now, UESP lists this as a bug, however it's been in Skyrim since the beginning and I don't think the unofficial patch takes care of it. I remember being able to still do this when I had mods installed. So yeah, there you go. Shock mages are the superior dragon slayers. One more soul for the collection there, boys. I meet back with Mirabelle to report our success, who then gives me Savos' magical amulet, which I gotta admit, not too shabby. It's more powerful than the Galder amulet fragment at least. Now at this point, I would like to get my destruction to level 40 before I go to Labyrinthian, but Feralda is just refusing to train me while this step of the quest is in place. So I make a pit stop to Windhelm to get literally one more level from Woundfirth the Unliving. She just couldn't be bothered, could she? There's destruction dual casting, get some illusion levels, and I top it off with speech by selling some items I had. And that's all I need for impact. This will let me stunlock most enemies I encounter with dual casted destruction spells. Now to make a pit stop to Solitude to visit everyone's favorite clothing snobs, because it turns out they have some bomb-ass robes just like this. Destruction and alteration boosts, thank you very much. I continue boosting my enchanting skill while I'm here, and now it's time to make like the augur and dip into the magical fonts of the College of Winterhold. So as part of the Out of Balance quest that Drevis Norellin gives you, which gives you these Mystic Tuning Gloves by the way, you can cleanse these Mystic Focal Points at the college, which drops 2 types of rewards when they're cleansed. Sometimes you get soul gems, and other times you get a 2-hour Fortify Magicka buff. Now initially I was just thinking that a nice little Magicka boost would be cool, you know, an extra little bit of firepower for the final boss fight, but no, I've been casting Muffle on my way to Labyrinthian and I haven't lost any Magicka at all. Yeah, turns out this little buff is actually bugged, and it's a mega Magicka regen buff that gives you literally infinite Magicka. At first I thought about redoing this segment, but honestly, I found it kind of fitting that dipping into the energies of the college would result in some kind of incredible unmatched power, and I also thought it was kind of funny, which is definitely not the real reason I kept it in. So any enemies I face are just not gonna have a good time.
Let's not waste any more time.
Hey, you said it, Savos. There's the second word of slow time, and there's the second tier of mage armor, and after 30 minutes of trudging through the Labyrinthian, we're finally ready to face the Dragon Priest Mordecai. How a recently awakened undead Dragon Priest of the long-lost city of Bromnionar managed to snag the Staff of Magnus from a museum in Mournhold, I'll never know. You're gonna tell me the staff just placed itself in his hands? I don't know, man. I guess you could argue it did that so that I, the Canon Dragonborn, could retrieve it and put it to good use. Now that's a leap of logic, but hell, it might be the right leap. Well, that is what unlimited power does to a motherfucker. There's the staff.
I had no choice. It was the only way to make sure that monster never escaped.
Wow, really not buying yourself any respect from beyond the grave there, Savos. Oh look, one of my Thalmor associates come to take the staff for me.
Onkano wants it kept safe. Oh, and he wants you dead.
Man, what is it with the Thalmor forgetting that I'm undercover and on their side? Something's a bit fishy here. Does anyone question my loyalties? As it turns out, the staff is kind of weak on legendary difficulty. Maybe you could use it against dragons more effectively? Anyway, unlimited power, yada yada yada. I break through Onkano's barrier at the college and listen to a madman's musings.
You think I can't destroy you? The power to unmake the world at my fingertips.
You know, you didn't have to go as far as the Eye of Magnus. You could have just dipped your toe into the magical energies of the college. It was easy enough. Anyway, he goes down faster than a booty call on a Friday night.
I have no idea what to do.
As per usual, the Psijic Order then shows up conveniently right as the crisis ends, just to whisk the Eye away to their little island. I told you they were not to be trusted. They're going to use it for their own little schemes.
There's no one more deserving to be Archmage, in my opinion.
Well, at least you're coming around to knowing your place around here. And being Archmage does have its perks, namely these sweet-ass robes that give 15% less spell cost to all spells and plus 50 magicka. That'll pair nicely with my genius and cover my bald spot. And by the way, I won't use that magical font glitch for the rest of the playthrough. I just didn't expect that to happen, to be honest with you. Now then, there's 60 enchanting obtained in my now personal quarters, and that's tier 4 enchanting. Now that I have quarters for a master mage such as myself, time to get some master equipment. I had heard rumors of this gigantic Shrine of Azura from all across Skyrim. Now let's see what secrets are in store. So I'm led to this so-called mage who studies the stars or whatever.
My days at the college are long behind me.
Don't worry, you're not missing much. He tells me to head to Ilinalta's Deep, which is this supposed fortress overtaken by water but untouched by it. I don't know, seems pretty touched by water to me. Together with Sheila, we break through the Mage Enclave, who think that there's something special because one guy gave his soul to a Daedric artifact or something. Yeah, these people are real brain children. Eventually we find the main man, who is dead by the way, grab the broken star, slay a dragon in Winterhold because the city guard just can't catch a break.
Broadcast your fancy magic someplace else.
How about up your ass before it turns you inside out? I don't know why I even bothered commending them. I meet back with Nelacar, who tells me I have to send my soul into the star to get at Malin to corrupt the star in my favor. With anyone else, I'd say no, but he's a fellow Altmer who isn't at my throat, so I like to trust him for now. Now, Malin, for whatever reason, decided it was a good idea to abandon his body and force his way into a Daedric artifact that is only meant to trap white souls and subsequently get driven insane by Azura, which, mind you, is essentially a patron deity for the Dark Elves, so this guy has all sorts of wrong just spread evenly all across his schemes. It would be a mercy to put an end to his life? Unlife? It's only his soul in here, and it's also part of my soul. I don't know how I even have my equipment or stamina or health or anything, really. Well, I guess that's Elder Scrolls logic for you. Alright, Malin, time to go night-night forever. I'm kind of attacking your soul, so I don't really think there's an afterlife for you. Plus, Azura is probably pissed drunk mad at you considering she drove you insane, so good luck if you're around in any form after this. Nerevar was a devotee of Azura, my guy. He ain't helping you here. Plus, I'm pretty sure the Nerevarine is still in Akavir right now, so I think you're out of luck, big boy.
Congratulations. You've altered the fate of a Daedric artifact, and lived.
Just another day for an Altmer, my underachieving brother. One last degenerate to deal with.
Never should have.
And while we're on the topic of combating Daedric influence...
Heard they're reforming the Dawn Guard. Vampire hunters or something.
The next stop is Fort Dawnguard. While the dragon threat is known and I have a reliable way to limit their effectiveness, vampires are a sleeping giant full of Daedric influence that specifically target mortals of all stripes, which we can't let gain a foothold.
Go see what the vampires were looking for in this dim hollow crypt.
Sure. Just send the new recruit alone to a known vampire den. Nothing can go wrong with that plan. Lucky for Isran, I'm the literal final boss of the College of Winterhold. A few Draugr and bloodthirsty vampires later... Damn, they're really trying to humanize these abominations with the guttural cries of pain. Good thing vampires have completely lost their humanity or I'd be feeling really Oh, Lord! Now, how this clearly human-shaped abomination caught my eye is the real mystery here. I could forget her name.
But if people are after me, there's something bigger going on.
Well, there's certainly something bigger going on in my pit. Holy Mother Mara, gargoyles attacked! Well, at least this undead Nord rat can hold her own in a fight, not like most of her lesser race. And since she's a vampire, I hope she stays back from the fire. It'd be a real shame to lose an asset right when I meet her. By the way, absorbing magicka with the staff and using it to blast spells is not too bad of a strategy, it turns out. Turned him into ash. Just kidding, he's over here. Missed opportunity, Mr. Todd, sir. Better be in Elder Scrolls 6.
It's so bright out here. I don't know how you stand it.
Well, you see, when we return to our rightful place in Aetherius' spirits, it's going to be a hell of a lot brighter than this. Though I think your destination is eternal damnation in Cold Harbor, so I guess you'll get used to the brightness of flames eating away at you for eternity? I don't know. Oh gods, you call this thing a father? Please just get me the hell out of here, damn. By Ariel's golden butt cheeks, I hope I never see that thing again. By the way, you might be thinking that becoming a vampire would be the obvious choice for the quote-unquote Canon Dragonborn, but there's a trailer in from Bethesda showing him becoming a vampire, so I can't take any chances. Also, the whole faction portion of this questline probably isn't even canon, so... Before I head back to Isran, I might as well make a pit stop by Deepwood Redoubt, home of the filthy tree-hugging half-breeds, which leads to Hag's End, which leads to more half-breeds, which leads to this coven of hags and witches. Which leads to dead hags and witches. Oh Jesus, I mean Mara, or whatever they worship me. Which leads to the final word of slow time, which leads to overpowered time powers. It's actually kind of crazy how freaking bonkers this shout is. I use it every run if I can. Spoiler alert, there's a twist later. We defeat the local vampire raid on my return to Fort Dawnguard. Eventually.
This couldn't get much worse.
Oh, you'd be surprised what happens when the races of men run the show. Just look at the Skyrim Civil War.
I'm old, not stupid.
Debatable. Isran sends me off to fetch a kooky old Dwemer researcher. I get level 80 Enchanting, tier 5 Enchanter. Now for some Boatswain shoes from the Anniversary Edition, which I didn't realize at the time actually is treated like a chess piece for enchanting, so I'll keep that in mind for the future. And there's also a kosher silver ring for a little more than half off destruction costs. And now to get a Nord Furry to bring them into our ranks.
So welcome to Fort Dawnguard.
Questionable decision making, but I'll allow it. Oh, Isran? You want me to follow you? Whoa, 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 okay, dude, this is the most questionable decision making I've ever seen since a Stormo decided to jump me. Rest in fucking peace.
Says it's got something really important to say to you.
Really? You have a vampire detection system and that's all it took? Bro, why can't I say I don't trust her either? Todd, you pigeonholed me into being a simp for a conventionally attractive female abomination. Todd is canonically an Imperial, I swear to Magnus. The Dragonborn canonically cannot say no to a pretty face. I was today years old when I realized. This dragon is on the receiving end of my fiery rage about my dialogue options. Hope it was worth it. Oh yeah, I should have mentioned that I got the Frost Atronach spell now. So breaking in to fight Dexion goes pretty smoothly. Just gonna shout his ass into next week. Oh, one spell, huh? Bro, why is Frosty teabagging me? Alright, take two. Fun fact, the Ice Storm spell goes through walls, and if any part of the spell makes contact and you have the impact perk, the enemy will be stunned. So it's a great tool for cheesing fights, despite the damage being a little low. From the top rope! Now read the damn scroll before I make you blind personally and permanently. I want to make sure I'm fully prepared for the fights ahead.
Gunmar and I agree that we're going to need Florentius to help.
And somehow he got stuck in here. So these guys somehow got their entire crew charmed by a band of vampires, looking like a Twitch chat in the Just Chatting section. Sorry, that reference probably isn't relevant anymore. Looking like an OnlySand model's subscriber base. Yes, I said OnlySands. You know, that would be kind of a funny concept, actually. By the way, I looked this up while making the script. It's real. No! The Husky makes a little whine when he soul trap it. Why do you do this to me, Todd? And damn, they got Volk in this dungeon? How much did they pay the little Aussie legend? It's too bad we gotta blast him like a cocky Spaniard. Damn, they're just blasting Florentius in here. Nothing like slow-mo explosions. Feeling manly in this fight. Or elfily. Didn't mean to give glory to that Lorcan source filth. There we go. Oh shit, Minorn is not playing around. That was one lightning bolt. Understandable. Have a nice day. That damage is nuts. Okay, how about we resist all the elements and we resist more magic? Well, at least it does a third health and not all of it this time. Should be able to keep her stunned. Okay, maybe not. Damn, no magicka. Highborn? Ooh, that's cutting it close. Damn, this boss is just hiding in this cave and side content. This is tougher than a lot of enemies. Damn, she's gonna make me use all my potions at this rate. Shots off cooldown. Swap to fireball. Please let me blast. Please, 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 please. Damn it, she healed. Still going? Yes! Finally got her down. And the ship goes down with its captain.
I knew Arcade would save me. I asked for help, and he sent you.
Okay, dude, let's get you out of here.
What's that? No, that's not what I... Yes, but... Are you sure? Really?
Right. So this guy's ears are a bit attuned to the arcane side of the spectrum. Okay, I deserve the groan for that joke. But the main reason I got Florentius is for his restoration spells. We can use Stendar's Aura for a cloak spell and Vampire's Bane for a very damaging area of effect against undead exclusively. Also, I got Sunfire from Serene Gerard, which is the only source because the book is bugged and not on the bookshelf as it's supposed to be. And I've mentioned this before in a previous video. The unofficial patch fixes this, but we're on vanilla for these runs for accessibility reasons. So it's not there and it's bugged. Now to hunt down Serana's mama. Not like that. We break through the ivory towers and discover the largest hidey hole in history. Oh yeah, this is a gamer mother's basement if I've ever seen one. And you know, I did do a little exploration and gather all the pages for St. Jub, just so he can never complete his opus. Filthy dark elf doesn't deserve my help. Bunch of Deja worshippers, even if they did clear off all the cliff racers. And you know, as much as I hate the races of men, this guy is already where he belongs in eternal suffering. And an undead mount to ride around would be pretty cool looking, generally speaking. I make sure to pick up the keepers before meeting with Valerica this time, just because I'm a bit of a completionist this run. Unfortunately though, I think I'm only level 33 at this time, so no Dragonbone weapons. Those only drop after level 45. I've learned the art of staggering my staggering stagger bombs to preserve magicka. Must be pretty annoying for the keeper to deal with though. That's 2 down, and there's 3. Or not. Damn son, what did Todd do to your leg? Looks like it hurts. Allow me to release you, my son. Whoa, good lord. Launched him like Volendrung into Hammerfell. I don't think he's ever coming down though. He's in the great void in the sky. Made that joke a bit too literal. I also made sure to rescue Arvak. And off screen, I make sure to collect the 3 Reaper fragments and return them to the receptacle. I can't have literal death foiling my plans for world domination. And I finally slay him. And I finally slay him. Todd, you can't just let me catch a good kill cam, can you?
It just works.
As a wise man once said,
death can have me when it earns me.
I meet up with Valerica, who runs through her normal dialogue with zero surprise that the barrier around her is down.
So how has it come to pass that a vampire hunter is in the company of my daughter?
How has it come to pass you can even tell that I'm a vampire hunter? Does your vampire night vision come with spider senses or some shit? I sit through their petty squabble of family ties that no longer matter, and after 5 entire minutes of conversation, she finally acknowledges what's fucking obvious.
Fortunately, you seem to have already killed the keepers maintaining the barrier around these ruins.
Okay, and what else? You're gonna tell me that fire burns people? What a damn joke. I actually managed to stunlock Durnavir on this ledge until my magicka runs out, and until I get a refill, and continue the onslaught once he lands right in front of me. Easiest dragon fight of my life.
Forgive my astonishment, but I never thought I'd witness the death of that dragon.
What, your all-knowing vampire senses can't tell that I'm the most powerful mage in all of Skyrim? I yoink the scroll and get the heck out of Dodge. Now for the final levels of Enchanting. After reaching 95 Enchanting, I head to the Elder Gleam Sanctuary, and after reading A Tragedy in Black Directly East, Catalog of Armor Enchantments in Valiant's House in Morthal, Catalog of Weapon Enchantments in the White Hall in Dawnstar, and Twin Secrets in this basket in the Jarl's Longhouse in Winterhold, and just enchant the rest for 100 Enchanting. The last book was too much trouble. I grab the extra effect perk, which allows me to place 2 enchantments on the same item, head to my love at Radiant Raiment and Solitude, who I still can't marry by the way, for some Skyrim fashion, drink an Enchanter's Filter, which boosts my enchanting by 20%, saving that elixir for later, and craft some items. Some fire and frost resistant boots, some magicka and sneaking gloves. Sneaking is just there for the value because I don't sneak this run. A destruction and restoration circlet, a destruction and magic resist ring, a destruction and magic resist necklace, and finally a set of destruction and restoration vagrant robes. And there's my new drip, boys. And if you're keeping score, that's full destruction cost to 0 and restoration cut by over half. And I've also nearly hit the cap for magic resist, being currently at 77% along with half off fire and frost. So yeah, I'd say I'm feeling pretty good right about now. I make sure to buy Incinerate from Feralda just for the damage, and ain't that a thing of beauty. I also got Augmented Flames tier 2. Now to grab the Attunement Sphere from this Madman in Chief.
Trust Septimus. He knows you can know.
I smite some Nord and some Daedra worshippers on the way to Alftan, the worst kind of elves these are, and make my way down the cave. I speed run my way through Alftan when my superior Altmer brain hatches an idea. Thousands of hours of playing Skyrim, and I only just now thought to do that, which leads me to the cathedral. Slow time and staggers make the Centurion a breeze, and the petty argument between the lowers ain't much harder. And here we are in Kirklandville. I run through pretty quick, making sure to summon the dragon with my voice. I wonder which lift the dwarves took him down in. Repeatedly firing Incinerate seems to do the job well enough. There we go, only took a minute. Now to insert the Allspark into the receptacle and push buttons until something happens. And there's our bedtime reading material. Serana, I don't expect much from you, but this is a new low, like come on.
Blind? Yes, I'm afraid so.
Never mind, found someone worse. Anyway, he guides me to a cave with a bunch of moths as if my clothes weren't tattered enough. Alright, here it goes. No, could it be? The Thalmor are. No, they can't be wrong. They would never betray me. Not the greatest among them. No, please! Tell me it isn't true! This cannot be! Scrolls showed me something. I know what I must do. The path is clear to me now. I cannot stray. Or it will mean the end of everything.
Are you okay? Almost thought I lost you there.
No, Serana. Everything was a lie. Everything I had lived for was a lie. There's no turning back now. Path forward is... I have a new reason for moving forward. The scrolls may not tell the whole truth, but it's just enough to light the way. The Snow Tower, the plot to free us of this mortal coil, all of it misguided. The ramblings of false wisdom espoused by corrupted minds and bounded flesh. None of it was grounded in reality. None of it. Even the conquering of all Tamriel won't bring us any closer to the freedom we seek. The wheel ever turns to the inevitable events that play, the cyclical nature of time, the Calpic rotunda that ever shifts the minds of all inhabitants of the Arbus. It all serves to scramble the minds of the chain just enough to prevent true rebellion. Those damn divines and all their traps. I should have seen it sooner. Well, now my purpose is clear. It is time to unmake everything.
So the deed has been done.
No, Gelabor. It's only getting started. Serana, your father is an obstacle to the grand design. We must be rid of him.
But I don't think we have much of a choice.
I know you'd understand.
Interesting that you can set aside your morals when it suits you.
Says the guy who endangered both his wife and daughter. We shall end this threat of yours. There's phase 1 done. Thankfully, we're in the business of using fire spells, so between all the staggers and damage, Harkin's pretty easy to take down. Last little bit now. There we go.
Teamwork right there.
One less obstacle for the grand design.
It's over. He's dead.
Oh, he's rotten. It is far from over. Harkin was only a single threat to our schemes.
State your intentions.
None of your damn business.
This is Morrowind, not Skyrim.
He kinda got me with that one. Morrowind always wins. I speak with Cretius Corellius and head down into quite possibly the largest clusterfuck of dead guys since the day I brought those heads to the Ruby Throne. I make my way down into the bowels, using the Bloodskull blade to open the door. No XP gained, by the way, so it's okay. Use Become Ethereal to bum rush my way very tactically through the traps and face off against the Chrysos. Listen, if you've been on my channel for any amount of time, you know that magic negation is my bread and butter, and dragon priests only have magic. So yeah, you do the math. Next I grab Dragon Aspect for the power boost, read the Black Book so I can say hi to old Hermamora, and dominate the subjects, before finally grabbing Lover's Insight. Now I can put these hoes in their place. The master plan or grand design or whatever insert evil scheme requires there to be no lingering threats. To take advantage of the power vacuum I intend to unfurl upon this world. Mirok's subjects are a bit of a joke at this point with my unlimited power and all, but good lord if he doesn't pack a punch. How dare he make me bow my own head? Filthy Daedra worshipping Nord is no better than the dark elves your kind once warred with. Legends on Solstheim tell of Mirok's descent into madness, that a word of power was the catalyst to his betrayal of the dragons. The bend will shout. Like a cube of cheese in a mousetrap, there is only one word in the entirety of Skyrim. The rest must be gathered from Hermamora himself. The scrolls have foretold as such, hence why I've decided to free all the stones in advance. And for a Daedric-powered egomaniacal dragonborn of immense power, his constructs are as weak as the minds he intends to dominate. Even the lurkers themselves fall to my knees in weakness.
You have proven yourself an ally to the Skull, and so the Skull shall be allies to you.
The enemy of my enemy is my friend, as the saying goes, even if they are lowly Nords. Now, Storn can't help me with the Black Book.
But the Dark Elf Wizard, Neloth.
Indeed, Neloth could help me here, but first a pit stop. I make sure to buy Ebony Flesh, Paralyze, Train to 90 Destruction with Feralda, buy Conjure Dremora Lord, Conjure Storm Atronach, Icy Spear. I already have Thunderbolt, but this is not enough. I need more power.
Perhaps you aren't as powerful.
Yeah, well, we can fix that.
2 power mount Dragonborn. It could be very interesting.
Perhaps you'll get a chance to see the might of one.
The Dwemer certainly knew how to build for the ages.
Understatement of the era. Of course you know the story of Nechardak by now. The scrolls have already shown me the way. Fight some child's plaything, find the cubes, activate the boilers, nuke another Centurion, read the Black Book.
Bloom transition.
You are following in the footsteps of my servant, Mirak.
You give a mouse a cookie and all of a sudden he's the servant of a Daedric Lord of Knowledge. Except my footsteps are much bigger than his. Just witness the awesome power of 1,000 thunderbolts to the face. No magic used, lowly dark elf with your short stature. Now then, more pit stops. I go off in search of destruction books in Whiterun Hold, The Rift, Burna's Oddments in Winterhold, Thaumaturgus' Hut in Morthal, and finally the Whitehall in Dawnstar. That's 100 destruction. Now to begin the destruction ritual spell from Feralda. Basically, we have to take the hints from this book and place it upon a pedestal and cast magic at it to progress with more hints. First is the Windward Ruin south of Dawnstar, next is North Skybound Watch by Riverwood, and last is Four Skull Lookout in the Reach. Activating the book gives us Firestorm and a strongly worded warning from Shalador himself. Filthy pretentious Nord. I return to Feralda to buy the master spells Blizzard and Lightning Storm, and now I have unlimited power! Mirok doesn't stand a chance.
What have you done?
Only what needed to be done, as the scrolls have foretold. All shall be won soon enough, my darling. Come down, my servant.
Mirak is strong. He knew you would come here.
You must not know that he'll never leave here then.
And so the first Dragonborn beats the last Dragonborn.
Can you please just stop monologuing for once? Is this really going to be the entire fight? Oh well, I guess he can run away for a brief moment. How pathetic. Turns out the first Dragonborn still hasn't figured out how to resist staggers. Well, that's another dragon down. Let's just see how overpowered we really are. Staggers within staggers. This is getting a little ridiculous, I'm not gonna lie. And down goes Sarutar, his most loyal servant. What a relentless ruler. Perhaps Mirok's only redeeming quality. However, strength is not among them. Now for the final lightning round. No pun intended. Yep, that'll do it.
did you think to escape me, Milak?
I tried to tell him, Mora. Once you're in with the Daedra, you don't come out.
I have found a new Dragonborn to serve me.
But even then, why wouldn't you want 2 Dragonborn in your service? Double the firepower. Well, more than double, since I'm clearly much more powerful than this pathetic child of man. Daedric Prince of Knowledge, and clearly not the Daedric Prince of Schemes. That's actually Boethia, my guy. He or she or whatever they picked that day may not have all the knowledge, but they do more with what they have, at least. Thousands of years of draconic knowledge is all mine, just as the scrolls have foretold. So you already knew that, didn't you, Mora? You cannot hold me! So for the last bit of my storied adventure, I stopped by the Bard's College so I can help Svaknir put old One Eye back to sleep. He's just a Draugr Death Overlord, doesn't mean much to me. There, you happy? Next, I help this fine gentleman literally make up history on the spot so he can con the court into letting the entire city let off some steam.
We're gonna get higher than a kite tonight!
As part of a favor for the Bard's College, I do make a pit stop to Hobbsfall Cave, and while I try to avoid the overpowered Anniversary Edition content in normal playthroughs like this, I'll just put this here because I know someone's going to ask about it. I take all the tomes, but I'm going to avoid the spells. They are way too powerful. After training, I read my way to another level so I can finally take the investor perk I need with speech. At long last, my sweet Terry. Although the scrolls say our time is short, at least it doesn't have to be lonely.
Why, hello. Here to buy? If you have to ask the price, you might be in the wrong store.
I invest my 500 gold, all while wearing my Amulet of Mara.
Would you be interested in a life together?
By the dead blood of Lorkhan, yes, let's do this finally.
All of Skyrim should get ready to stand aside.
Oh, Terry, what a way with words. But there will be no standing when I am done with this world. Would you mind cooking something for me?
Here, try this. And don't you dare ask for another one before tomorrow.
Now this is real wife material. Now then, to exterminate the pests.
I don't think you were followed. Come on, I have a plan.
So the plan is to sneak me right into the hands of my former associates.
Welcome. I don't believe we've met.
Always having to keep up appearances, eh, Ellen Wynn? My old friend. Thankfully, she hasn't played her hand just yet. Maybe I can create a distraction.
I'm very discriminating when it comes to the female form.
I think I found my guy.
Don't you dare walk away from me, you slut!
Oh, perfect. I was just leaving. Grab my gear, say hello to the guards, and prepare my disguise. See, if you're an Altmer like myself, you can just don the Thalmor robes and waltz right in.
Why didn't you say so? Take over my post. Make sure nobody enters the Solar.
Yeah, okay, dude. Gullible idiot. Well now, seems that Ulfric is still well documented. At least he's distracting them for now. I read up about an old blade named Esbern and report it to Delphine.
Esbern? He's alive?
Oh yes, very much so.
Go away!
Listen, I promise I'm not gonna hurt you.
Oh, how reassuring. Most likely you were with the Thalmor. Well, this is just a trick to get me to open the door, huh?
You know, that's really not a bad guess. But listen, the Thalmor totally don't know about Delphine, right?
You'd better come in.
Well, that didn't take much. True to form, he believes me after the smallest bit of a push that I am his salvation. Really makes you think how desperate of an old man he is. I mean, I guess there's not much to lose. He doesn't have much time left anyway. Get used to this angle for when I save the world only to rule it myself. We head out to Skyhaven Temple, which is the perfect opportunity to break out the big guns. Oh yeah, I love me a taste of that unlimited power. Now sit. We also tuck in the Forsworn before getting stuck in for the blood-activated door. Didn't expect elf blood, did you? After studying a past prophecy, we determined we're going to need some kind of shout for them Greybeards. Not that they're too excited about me getting help from the Blades.
They specialize in meddling in matters they barely understand.
I mean, sure, they meddled in Uriel Septim's Royal Guard against the Mythic Dawn and failed miserably, but come on, they had a whole ass wall with all the stuff on it. Reluctantly, Arngrim teaches me how to control the weather so I can meet up with party snacks.
Drem Yolok, greetings.
I'm here to learn the Dragonren shout.
Drem, patience.
My video waits for no dragon. He finally decides to tip me off that the Dragon Elder Scroll must be read at the Time Wound to learn what I seek. Well, it's good to know that the races of men at least aren't entirely useful, and thus the draconic ass-sitting shout was born. As the name implies, this causes dragons to sit their asses down on the nearest available surface, giving grounded characters an advantage. Unfortunately, as per usual, the Nords fall short in their endeavors. Thus, Feldir has to make like a true boomer and say the magic words. I mean, it's not my problem. passing the buck to future generations. And here we are in the modern day, cleaning up his mess. And I mean, what else did you expect? I literally have 0 destruction costs. Like, this could only go one way. Is anyone surprised? Yeah, that's right. Run before your vanquisher deals with you. You can't go far. So I've decided to side with the Blades this time around. They are oath-bound to serve the Dragonborn in all his endeavors as the ultimate dragon slayer. Dragons themselves are dominators by nature, and even though I can easily dispatch them, I'd rather not have to deal with giant lizards who will not take kindly to me usurping power on Tamriel.
Paarthurnax deserves to die.
Indeed, his presence, albeit initially helpful, is too risky to maintain. So I head to the throat of the world to perform the dark deed. And I mean, he doesn't exactly plead his case very well.
The Blades are wise not to trust me. Onikan Niov. I would not trust another Dova. We were made to dominate. The will to power is in our blood.
You said it, not me. The lightning spell does its work, and Paarthurnax is powerless. There is no dragon that can stop me now. But as if in a cruel twist of fate, I used the slow time shout within the time wound, and what happened next was very interesting. So somehow time is nearly frozen, as if it's slower than what it is normally done from the slow time shout. And what's more, I cannot actually cast spells. The slow time timer is actually locked at 13 seconds too, and it's not removing its effects. This would be a really cool lore tie-in if I didn't also know that Bethesda games are buggy as hell. So with all the drama in the world, I watch as my Dremora lord deals the final blow to Paarthurnax, and I witness the coolest Dragonborn absorption you've ever seen in your entire life. Party Snacks even in death was one cool motherfucker. I'm gonna miss him when I dominate the world. Thankfully, if I fast travel, I can break out of the glitch slow time. But spoiler alert, the shout is bugged for the rest of the playthrough, so I can't use it at all. It's like the game is forcing me to make these videos more varied. So in case you forgot, I sided with the Stormcloaks to take Whiterun to initially sow chaos in Skyrim, which has worked out perfectly. So Vignar is the new Jarl, but he still needs help ensuring a truce. So we awkwardly need to go ask the Greybeards for help after slaying their dragon leader.
This is how you repay our trust. Paarthurnax's trust, his noble spirit, the wisdom of ages, his deep understanding of our existence, all gone? And for what? Begone, before even my philosophy is tested beyond the breaking point.
But listen, I need your help for a truce.
Paarthurnax has made the decision to help you. This is the road we have to walk.
Oh really? Even though I killed him and you guys were so angry before, you're still willing to help me? Okay, dude. Cool.
In your case, Dragonborn, it is a privilege to guide you towards mastery of your voice.
Wow, you switched sides faster than what I did during the war. I can't believe he actually agreed to even this as well, knowing full well they set me on this path. Truly wild times.
Fine. Let's get this over with.
Who would like to open the negotiations?
And fun fact, if you have Vignar as Jarl during this council, it will be Tullius making the immediate demands for territory as opposed to Ulfric. It seems whoever has control of Whiterun is the calmer party. After a brief chat, I learned the dragon's name from Esbern and summoned him to Dragon's Reach. First you, then all life in Skyrim.
Many of us have begun to question Alduin's lordship.
Indeed, perhaps you will see that I am your rightful ruler. A brief chat about loyalties later, I set Odahviing free and catch a ride to Skuldafn. I could have bent his will if I wanted to, but it's always good to see if soft power will work before using the big guns. The dragons themselves are also pushovers, so much for the brunt of Alduin's strength. And let's not even start on the Draugr. They're not exactly the worthiest of opponents. Dragon priests for good measure, and off we go. Sovngarde. I guess the trickster did carve out a place for his chosen people, lesser spirits though they are. It seems some of the gods are still allied with the now dead god of creation. How does it feel that the citizens of Skyrim never mention your name in worship anymore? You barely have the power to pose a challenge to I, your superior mortal of Aldmeri descent, soon to be above you in stature. Good gracious Amara above, it smells of sweat and sour loincloths in this hall. Well, I'm glad Olaf has no hard feelings of me reigniting the burning of King Olaf festival in Solitude and defiling his corpse with Svaknir. He seems pretty chill here.
The way of the voice is neither wide nor easy.
Oh, my heterochromatic friend has no idea what I did to his dragon disciple. Alright guys, let's go stake our eternal souls on this one singular fight. Now, the surface level Skyrim lore would suggest that Alduin is merely the firstborn of Akatosh and is just a dragon with a few extra giant responsibilities like devouring the world, moving it to the next Kalpa, etc, etc. But the deep lore would suggest that Alduin is one of the larger shards of the great Akatosh Oversoul that assumed a higher purpose which granted him immense power, enough to devour the world and move it into the next cycle of time since it's cyclical in the Elder Scrolls lore. Either that, or he is yet another face of the split personality of Akatosh, so in this case, Alduin would be Akatosh himself, just another angrier version of him, hell-bent on destroying the world before we put him back in a better mood like he was when he manifested in Martin's Septum in Oblivion. And you know, it's weird that Akatosh is technically the same person who shot Lorkhan's heart into what became Red Mountain, basically defeating the progenitor of the races of men, but then most of his well-known followers and avatars are also men in the future, which maybe you could blame on the Middle Dawn caused from some talking apes. Yes, this is a real thing, by the way, look up the Imga. Anyway, bottom line is Akatosh is a complicated god to follow in the Elder Scrolls series, and I think Alduin is being reabsorbed in the Akatusk here, which is why I don't absorb his soul as the last Dragonborn. Motherfucker, that staggered me.
When you have completed your count of days, I may welcome you again with glad friendship and bid you join the blessed feasting.
With all the 3 major threats out of the way, there's only 2 more minor obstacles which could pose a problem in my plans according to the scrolls. In order to eliminate the possibility of that, I must become stronger, starting with investing in Rallis Sidaris. By some profane ritual of sacrificing minors, as in people who mine ore, YouTube, not children. Jesus Christ, I mean Mother Mar. Damn, I need to fix my wording on these. Anyway, Azadal is summoned, and he's a dragon priest who only uses magic, which basically means he might as well not exist as a tangible threat to me. That's more like it. Rallis, I can't have you running around either. And the benefit to this is twofold. By running through the Filament and Filigree Black Book, I can unlock the secret of Arcana power, which allows me to make my spells cost 0 magicka for 30 seconds once per day. And now that power leveling is all that matters at this point, I use Soul Trap on this miner to get to 90 Conjuration, Repel Undead to get to 91 Restoration, and now with my magic skills within striking distance, it's time to report to Septimus to help him unlock the box. Begone, Thought.
You shall not evade me forever.
Soon, Mora. Soon. Time for some racially motivated extraction. I collect some Falmer blood, Orc, Altmer, Dunmer, and Bosmer. So Septimus can have a taste of what being a higher life form is like before it overwhelms him. Powerless Nord. And now I can follow the path of magic for 5 free levels to each school of magic, and find skill books for 100 Conjuration and 100 Restoration. And here's the fun part. For Alteration, I can activate the Secret of Arcana for 0 spell costs, use Telekinesis on an item, travel to some far off location like Windhelm from Solitude, and the game will think you traveled all that way using Telekinesis on the item. Instant 100 Alteration. By the way, don't mind the extra smithing level, that's from a Bard's College quest. But now I can make the skill legendary and repeat the process, and 17 minutes later, that's total level 80. And by the way, this only works if your spell cost is 0. Now I pretty much have all practical perks selected, including the Atronach perk, and I traveled to Eastmarch to activate the Atronach Stone, so in total, that's the cap of 85% magic resistance and 80% spell absorption. The only drawback is my Conjuration spells only work about 20% of the time since I absorb them from the spell absorption, since it's technically a spell cast on myself. Oops. Now back to the college to complete the Illusion Ritual spell, the Restoration Ritual spell, don't ask why I'm naked, it's a long story, the Conjuration Ritual spell, and the Alteration Ritual spell. The most important of these being the Storm Thrall Master spell from Conjuration, which summons a Storm Atronach until it dies, and I can have 2 of these, and Dragonhide, which boosts my armor rating to the hard cap of 80% physical damage negation. Unfortunately, I can't dual cast it, so I'm going to need to make some preparations. I head back to Solstheim to White Ridge Barrow so I can blast some mind-controlled spider bandits, shut down a useless dragon priest, read the Black Book, the Sadlo Regent, and once I've blasted a few Seekers, activate the Seeker of Sorcery active effect, which boosts all magical skills by 10 and reduces spell cost by 10%. Now I can travel to my wife in Solitude and browse their fine selection of clothing options for my final drip selection, and once my preparations are complete, I pop into the Archmage's quarters, my quarters, and withdraw all of Azadal's armor. The armor together confers a 10-point enchanting boost, and even though he was a Nord, Azadal did manage to mimic a fraction of Somerset Altmerry power.
Look what they need to mimic a fraction of our power.
This armor does look hideous, but it doesn't give me experience, so I guess I'll allow it for a brief moment. Now then, to drink the Enchanter's Elixir for 25% boosted enchantments, the strongest store-bought enchanting potion in the game, and now to craft my in-game equipment. Destruction and Alteration robes, stronger fire and frost resist boots, magicka and sneak gloves, again no sneak is used, destruction and Alteration circlet, stronger destruction and magic resist ring, and stronger destruction and magic resist necklace. Now I can dual cast my Dragonhide Master Spell, which doesn't change the animation, but it does double the duration. And in hindsight, I probably could have replaced the Destruction enchantment with a Restoration or Alteration one, but we're still pretty strong. And handsome! Now then, to eliminate obstacles. The Ebony Warrior is the finest warrior in all the land, possessing powerful armor, enchantments, a robust physique, and the power of the voice. He needs to be eliminated before my plans can be safely set into motion. Fortunately, he is not immune to staggers. Oh no, this is trouble. Shoot, I lost his health bar. Yep, he's at full health, and now I have vampires to deal with. Great. Honestly, it's not too bad. We kind of have a 2v1 going on right now. Not sure how that happened, but I'm not complaining. Alright, managed to knock him down, but now the vampire's focused on me, so that's just wonderful. Volky, I'll deal with you later. First, we have a soul to send to Sovngarde, or wherever it is that Red Guards go when they die. They're men, I don't care. And at long last, the Ebony Warrior is defeated. One last obstacle to my master plan. So far, the Elder Scrolls have been a one-to-one account of what is to come. All their guidance has come to fruition. Makes me wonder if my actions are even my own at this point. Who knows? But what I do know is not even a legendary dragon can stand up to my power. This is a good indicator of things to come. By the way, I don't have the Disintegration perk. It is just a classic Bethesda bug that only occurs with the Lightning Storm Master Spell. Still get the soul, though. Alright, let's go to Solstheim. Now to encounter possibly the strongest enemy in all of Skyrim. His power cannot be used against me if I slay and claim him first. First a little cleanup of the throne room. And now to summon the giant ghostly hairy bastard. So I just like to use this moment to demonstrate why I don't use overpowered Anniversary Edition content like overpowered armors or weapons, because I feel like it cheapens the fun whenever I can just blast a continuous stream of meteors out of my hand. Or if I get tired of that, I can switch to Elemental Blast and deal over 300 damage per spell and just nuke Karstag Morrowind style. Kind of. If my aim wasn't complete old man dog water, this fight would be over in less than a minute.
Oh no. I say when we're done.
But you know what? He doesn't even need Anniversary Edition. Here it is with just Incinerate. Prepare to taste the sting of High Elven supremacy. One last sit on your throne. You're welcome. By the way, if you did enjoy this video, please be sure to like the video and subscribe, and also consider becoming a channel member where you can support for as little as $1 per month. There are also links to my Twitter and also my Discord account down in the description where I frequently spoil what the next video is going to be. I think you'll find some use out of it. But anyway, thank you guys for watching yet again, and I will see you guys in the next video. Everything is complete. All of it. It is all in place. The scrolls told me of secret locations, secret keys to unlocking the nature of mortality. It turns out Ancano wasn't too far off himself.
The power to unmake the world at my fingertips.
Oh yes, it won't be long now. I've collected them carefully. First from Golden Glow Estate. Then from the Alchemist's Shack, the Frostflow Lighthouse, the basement of Dushnik Yal, and finally from the Duskglow Crevice. Each of these had the inscription across their lids, the inscription of the Et'Ada themselves. These are not the mere scratchings of a madman, no. They are a message from the gods themselves. Each represent a certain location that requires blood. Oh, the pitiful Thalmor. They thought the towers were the answers. The towers, the tilted towers. Find the stones, deactivate the towers, dismantle the world as we know it. Oh, how pathetic. Pitifully and pathetically misled, just like that puny Nord, thinking he would ever have the chance to view the inside of the Dormer lockbox. Oh, how I would love to be as ignorant as them all, but I know now. I must be the one to fulfill the prophecy. At the center of these marked cities lies a ruin. Stones. The Waynan stones. Their original purpose is lost to time, but the scrolls have shown me the way. That's right. The time for reckoning is finally here. My darling Tayri, forgive me. I wish you to know what I know. What splendor we shall spend together as free beings. With these keys in place, all shall be reborn.